One specific thing that they talked about was Julian Blackmon. That Julian Blackmon was brought in, told that he could compete for a job, but he would not be guaranteed a job. I think this makes a lot of sense, obviously, because they have, two safeties there, but they don't have a lot of depth at that position. So I wanted just to highlight something I was looking into when I was looking into Talanoa Hufanga. I saw that the weeks before Talanoa Hufanga's injury, the Niners were ranked 9th in their run defense by EPA per rush. In the weeks after Talanoa Hufanga's injury, they were ranked 21st. There's obviously some overlap with Eric Armstead's injury. But regardless of this, the 49ers are still looking at a safety. They've looked at Julian Blackmon, who I personally think is a really good option for the 49ers. He's coming off a season with a career best in missed tackle rate, interceptions, and he allowed the 10th lowest passer rating when targeted. And he'll scrum in the run game. He'll make tackles. He's a willing tackler. And I really like him a lot after watching him. The more I look into Julian Blackmon, the more I like him. What do you think initially of Julian Blackmon?
I love the name. I think that would be a great addition for the Niners. I think they really, they're very thin at corner or at safety. More thin than I think most people think. And most people think, oh, well, you got Jair Brown. He had a great rookie year, and man, Hufanga's coming back, and he's a young player, was a 2021 draft choice, and they're set. But really, George Odom is a special teamer strictly. The other two guys are kind of back end of roster guys, though I do think Taylor Hawkins has some coverage ability. But still, I mean, you're very thin, and Hufanga's coming off surgery. He was hurt a ton at SC. He's been hurt tons in the NFL. If you ask me, Hufanga and Brown are best both as the strong safety in the box, in that they really don't have a free safety. And the one thing you can say about Blackmon is he's a former corner. So he's got that ability to play coverage. He can play the deep middle in the cover 3. He can play man-to-man if you need him to. I think they're going to go for at least one veteran safety and probably 1 or 2 safeties in the draft. And my favorite is Malik Mustafa from Wake Forest, who's just a thumper, big-time hitter. They've looked at Vaki, I believe, from Utah. We mentioned PJ Jules from Southern Illinois, could be like an after the draft or a late day 3 pick. So I would not be, if you told me the Niners picked 2 safeties and signed a veteran at safety, did all of that, I would not be surprised. I think that if you look at it, they're deep at corner, even with the loss of Greenlaw injury wise. They're deep at linebacker. They're very deep on the D line. They're deep at running back. They've got 3 quarterbacks. They need a little depth at tight end. They need better depth at offensive line. They're deep at receiver. They're deep in most spots. And there aren't that many areas where they're really thin, but safety might be one of them.
I'll list off the other top safeties available and just give me your thoughts on them.
Sure.
The top safeties available right now, as of today: Justin Simmons, obviously top end talent.
Gonna cost you more.
Right. He's 30 years old. He's missed 5 games of the last 2 seasons, but he's,
playmaker.
He's the best. He's the cream of the crop in terms of safeties in the NFL. You could get him on a deal for the last, golden years of his career. Then there's Kyle Duggar from the Pats. He's 28.
Well, he was restricted. He's on a tag, right?
Yeah, they put a $13.8 million transition tag on him.
So what does that mean? 2 2s or something like that? You have to owe them if you're going to owe them draft pick compensation. He'd be great.
Yeah,
but you're going to owe them draft pick compensation.
Right. He's a little bit younger, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure how the compensation works, but it's a little bit more discouraging for other teams to go after him. There's Marcus May from the Saints. He's 31. He's only played 17 games in the last 2 seasons for the Saints. He missed the final 6 games of the 2023 season and missed the first 3 games because he violated the NFL substance abuse policy. But he's obviously talented, a little bit older.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan. Not a great coverage player, in my opinion.
Yeah. There's Quandre Diggs, who's 31. Made 3.
Nice.
Yeah. Made 3 straight Pro Bowlers. Nice. Made 3 straight Pro Bowls, 2020 through 22. He started all 67 games in the last 4 years with the Seahawks. He's a converted corner to safety. So he's a good player.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
They can get Diggs. That'd be good.
Yeah. The only thing is that he's coming off of his worst season where he posted lows in interceptions, breakups, and highs in reception percentage and missed tackles. So
they weren't getting it done up front, though. Yeah. So that's part of it, part of that deal.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can turn him around, obviously not turn him around, but if you see that season as the exception, then he's definitely a good target. And then there's Tashaun Gibson, who's obviously contemplating retiring, but I think John Lynch stated at the meetings in Orlando that, you know, he wants him, but he has to decide whether he wants to retire or not right now.
I think that's a post-draft deal anyway. It's like, okay, after the draft, figure out where you're at mentally. Do you want to play or not? And we'll see where we're at roster-wise, and we'll decide if we have a need or not. But I think that's a post-draft decision if you can't find the safety that you want. I mean, the thing about you know, Gibson is that he's ordinary in coverage, ordinary against the run. He's kind of just an ordinary player at this point. What he's still good at is if you throw the ball in the wrong areas of the field, he's a productive interceptor. He'll go for that ball and he'll make that interception. So he's good in the area of he doesn't drop INTs, but he's not dependable against the run, and he's not a great pass defender in man or zone. So to me, he's just a guy, and if you can get him late, you do. He's a good veteran. He works hard. He'll get everybody lined up in the right spot.
He has
He's just not going to be a thumper in the run game, and he's not going to be an awesome coverage guy in the pass game.
He has a knack for intercepting the ball, though. That's his one trait. He has a knack for being at the right place at the right time and getting interceptions. It's one of those things where you could see it as luck, but he's done it his entire career. So he obviously
He's got a knack to know where the ball is and pick off the ball.